video off.
There we go.
Yeah. I want to welcome you to Blue Light at the Gallery. We have two poets tonight that I deeply admire. And just to tell you a little bit of good news, Naomi Lowinsky launched her book on Tuesday, Death in His Lorca. She made the bestseller list. I was really just so happy about that. It's a beautiful book. And I'm just so looking forward to hearing these poems in your voice. And we also have Diane Lee Moomey as the second reader. And one of the reasons I wanted to invite her, along with respect and appreciation for her work, is that Diane runs the Coast Side poetry series and open mic. It's one of the best open mic series in Northern California. And I mean, really, I'm very particular and about what I attend. And I feel, Diane, that you do a lot for poetry, and this was something I could do for you, and I really wanted to. So I am going to mute everyone. Please stay muted until it's for Naomi and Diane, until it's time for you to read. And we're going to have some social time afterwards, so you can talk to the poets, virtual book signing. Naomi and Diane, after you read, please post in the chat how to get in touch with you, your website, how to order your book, where we can get it locally, your Amazon link, and that would be really great. So I'm going to introduce our first reader tonight is Naomi Ruth Lewinsky. Our second reader will be Diane Lee Moomey. Naomi Ruth Lewinsky spends morning reverie time with her dreams, some of which leap into her poems. She's a Jungian analyst and a widely published poet. She has won the Blue Light Poetry Prize. Now, that is not easy to win. We get a really large pile of books. The Obama Millennial Award and the Atlanta Review Merit Award. Her fifth poetry collection, Death in His Lorca, was recently published by Blue Light Press. Naomi, you're on.
Thank you so much, Diane. And thank you so much to Diane for all her support. She's had to hold my hand through so much learning. You've been wonderful. So when my husband and I went to Spain, and this is, I think, close to 15 years ago, when we went to southern Spain because I needed to go to Granada, where Lorca was born. My influence in my life, Federico Lorca. We also went to Cordoba and to some other places in southern Spain, which brought so much feeling for both of our Jewish heritage, because so much happened to the Jews, both positive and negative, in the history of Spain. So I want to start with a poem about Cordoba. It's called Cordoba Haunts Me. All night, the ringing of the doorbell. Has someone forgotten their keys? Is Lorca's ghost in town? Perhaps it's the poet Walada, taunting my sleep, chanting her provocations in Arabic across 9 centuries. Ding dong the bell. Each time an unseen guest, a poltergeist, is ringing. Dan is rational. Maimonides is his man. He times the bell once a minute, once every 2 minutes. His theory, a battery is dying slowly. Jung is my man. The dead have arrived on their way to Jerusalem, on their way to Mecca. They ring and ring here in the city of moaning doves, where 3 sons of Abraham once cultivated each other's gardens. There are as many ghosts here as there are pillars in the Mesquita, as many ghosts as there are red and white arches, hanging lamps, luminous mosaics, points of light, emptiness in the Maksura, where longing is carved into stone. As many ghosts as there are interloping stained glass windows, weeping saints, painted virgins. As many ghosts as there are phantoms murmuring in the synagogue, I hear them, feel the density of their prayer. They pray for peace in Jerusalem, for peace in me. Oh, fountains of the gone, arabesques of exile, city of the burnt and the forbidden, remember us. So now I'm going to skip centuries and thank you, skip centuries and lands and take us to America when I was a girl. And the poem is called When I'm Gone. When I'm gone, who will remember a girl's crush on Adlai Stevenson? The earnest precinct walks, the beloved silver lapel pin, a shoe with a hole in its sole, meaning eggheads are lovable. Remember Einstein's mismatched socks? Who will remember the violet glow of Oma's eyes, telling tales of Erich, the dying tiger in the Berlin Zoo, his throaty greeting each time she came to paint him before she knew she was marked a Jew? Who will remember how safe it seemed in America? The war was won. The streets were calm. A child could play cowboys and Indians all day until dusk. How green the lawns, how sweet the smell of honeysuckle. Until before the House Un-American Committee, before billy clubs and dogs, before 4 little girls in church, before Howl. Who will remember her skinny little girl's body before breasts had their way and nothing was safe anymore? And now I'm going to shift to a different kind of poem. Among the dead that have been very powerful and down in my life were the death some years ago of my children's father, my first husband, Barry. And this is a poem about him called Last Reckoning. In the time of apricots, the moon, which was never your thing, grows huge, enfolding you in white light. I've come to visit your final bed in room 618, with its long view of the Berkeley Hills, the Campanile. You, the first to touch me in the dark Chevy, in the eucalyptus grove, tell me your body's last reckoning. Even now you are so rational. Test results, blood numbers. You shrug. If it would make any difference, you'd let them fill you up with toxic chemicals again. There's no way out, you say, but out. Your matter-of-fact surrender touches me. Your crucible of white light dazzles me. Our daughters touch your face. Look into your eyes. Our son holds on to your hand. How many seasons of apricots since I slipped out of your bed. You never could reckon why. The moon, which swallows mountains, decades, the Ganges, where once we stood with our children, watching corpses burn, shines on our son, age 6, who announced, when you die, it's I who'll light your funeral pyre. I see you sliding into white water. Your angel, did you know you have one, is beckoning. There's no more reckoning between us. And not so much longer after that, my stepchildren lost their mother, my husband's first wife. And this poem is dedicated to her, Barbara. And it's a hustle. It's called Hustle in Your Wake. Your candle gutters on the kitchen counter, so shaken, your song without words. The firestorm that took you savaged us all. Soul shudders, a dirge without words. A camel-shaped thunderhead carries you off to the furthest rim of the world. Spirit sputters at the edge of abyss. Where goes your song without words? You keep me kitchen company. It wasn't always easy. You, Dan's ex, me, his second wife. Awkward edges, irritated mutters, all simmered away in our tribal stew. We brewed us a song without words. You greet me in the pre-dawn dark. It's winter solstice, not yet awake, you've been gone. Flame flutters. You are the rain in the naked trees, song of the river without words. You greet me in the pre-dawn dark. Walking by the canal, where he's only ever seen ducks, Dan beholds you rising in the form of an egret. Utter wonder, your splendid wings, your song without words. Sitting Shiva, so many friends, so much food, so many stories. Shutters open. How little I knew of your big, shining life. A chorus is singing your song without words. Your daughters wear your glamorous threads. Your son hasn't shaved since you died. Just weeks ago, they were all in your bed, a clutter of photos, a clutch of memories, so haunted, your song without words. No wig for you. You shaved all that lustrous hair. I admired your bald head, your fuchsia beret, your leopard print pants. So bold a rebutter of the one with the scythe, so fierce your song without words. Your flame has burned out. I miss you. Once you were a master flower cutter, an elegant arranger. I fill your empty candle jar with gemstone roses, garnet, coral, topaz. They sing you a song without words. You've changed out of your vivid jewel tones into muted gray blues, mist on the mountain. I, Naomi, your kin by long second marriage, pour sweet butter on your name, Barbara. Bless your thin air, the song of your life, beyond words. I'm going to shift gears here a little bit. This is a poem I wrote some years ago, and I was working a lot under the influence of the poet Al Young, whom some of you probably remember was the poet laureate of the state of California some years ago, and a wonderful African-American poet. And we lost him just recently, which I'm very sad about. This poem is dedicated to him, and it's called Your People Are My People. My people are the people of the pianoforte and the violin. Mozart people, Bach people, Hallelujah people. My people are the Requiem people, Winterreise people, Messiah people, who crossed the Red Sea, Pharaoh's dogs at our heels. Your people are the drumbeat people, the field holler people, the conjure people, blues people, jubilee people, people who talk straight to God. Your people are the Old Man River people, the drinking gourd people, singing the Lord's song in a strange land. My family had a Sabbath ritual. We lit the candles, sang Go Down Moses, sang Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, sang slave music, freedom music, secret signals in the night music. My father said, you never know when Pharaoh will be back. I was young. I was American. I thought my people were the Beatles, the Lovin' Spoonful, the Jefferson Airplane, singing Alice and her White Rabbit through all those changes my parents didn't understand. That didn't last. That was leaving home music, magic mushroom music, Puff the Dragon music floating off to Never Never Land, now heard in elevators in the pyramids of finance. But Old Man River still rolls through my fields. Bessie Smith still sweetens my bowl. Ma Rainey appears in the inner sanctum of the C.G. Jung Institute, flaunting her deep black bottom. My father's long gone over Jordan, and I'd hate for him to see how right he was about Pharaoh. But I want you to know, Al, every Christmas in Black churches all over Chicago, the Messiah shows up accompanied by my mother's Hallelujah violin. Sad to say that's no longer happening. We lost my mother 3 years ago. And this poem, which actually came before she died, but it came from a dream in which she was not really my mother. She was like an incarnation of the archetype of mother. And she was an oracle, and she was in a rage. It's called Mother's Severed Head. Mother's severed head is talking in your sleep. All night long, she's talking in tongues, talking like there's no tomorrow. Tomorrow has gone berserk, smashed tablets, hurled stones. Terror breeds terror and broken children. Look for mother in memory. Look for her in myth, in oak leaf, in river, in weeping willow. There's no sign of her body. Chaos breeds chaos and frightened children. Coyote seizes the border. Sex is traffic. Love is roadkill. Once mother worked for Chicago childcare, taught parenting skills to baby mamas before blood crippled blood, before guns became God. Her body can't find her head. Mayhem breeds mayhem in the streets of Chicago. Drug money kidnaps the kids of Honduras. Sex is roadkill. Gangs are God. Mother's in a rage about Oracle, Arizona. How can a town whose name means her shrine cast snake eyes on terrified children? Hate is a wildfire. It leaps across borders. Gangs and guns ricochet. What jackal god eats babies? Mother is a summons in the cave of dreams. Listen for her wailing in the dark before the dawn, wailing like there's no tomorrow. Well, and then it became Dan and my turn to have to deal with problems of illness and facing death. And Dan was having chemotherapy to deal with his cancer, and woke up in one morning and told me a dream that he had, and that became that poem. This poem, usually it's from my dreams, but in this case, it's from his dream, and it's called "The Russian Woman's Daughter." "The Russian woman's daughter is sweeping the floor," you announced, hauling yourself out of chemo's last slime before slipping back down into undertow. In dreams, you are forever traveling, driving near cliff's edge, navigating bus stops, running to catch a plane. Perhaps you're at a wedding in the old country, where our dead have gathered to bless the unknown bride, the unseen groom. Surely there's a grandmother who'll make you a big bowl of borscht, red root broth to purge you of aches, shakes, nasty aggravations in delicate places. Surely they'll be gone like the crumbs swept away by the Russian woman's daughter. Perhaps it's her wedding. And the groom, I can see him now, dancing in the glow of those who came before, aroused as the green man in May. Here in the old country of the heart, you are my root and my canopy. Here in the garden, the earth's been turned, the seedlings planted. Come back to the river with me. Come back to the farmer's market. Strawberries sing the sun's hot tongue. A fiddler frolics a klezmer tune. Our dead do a circle dance around us, throw us high to the canopy sky.
So Naomi, we have time for one more, and then we're going to switch to Diane Lee Moomey's poems.
Okay. Well, I'm going to read the title poem, which is Death and His Lorca. You were always with him, etched in the mountains, slapping his face with a gust of terror at night in the alibi scene, where a gypsy might spirit his soul to a cave while his friends kept on laughing, drinking, your icy fist in his guts, your minotaur shadow looming over the Moorish wall. You sang him a broken moon. You slipped him the knife at the wedding. You entered his dreams spitting teeth. Why couldn't you have let him have his life while he had it? Death, this is your country, yours the Hors de Fe, yours the synagogue's ghost, yours the ruins at Medina al-Zahra. And Lorca, he's written you into everything, his end always known to his beginnings, as fire knows its ash, as blood knows the heart's final shudder. Thank you.
Thank you, Naomi. Let's give her a round of applause.
So much.
One of the things I love about Naomi's poetry is that she's a Jungian therapist. So we have this level of myth and archetype, and it's fascinating. And I also want to publicly thank you for the reviews that you've done of my work. They're just such insight because of your entire background. So thank you so much for reading to us tonight.
Thank you so much.
So our next poet, Diane Lee Moomey, is a painter and poet living in Half Moon Bay, California, where she is co-host of the monthly reading series Coastside Poetry. Her work has appeared in Light, Think, The MacGuffin, PoetryMagazine.com, Mezzo Kamen, and others. Her newest book, Make for Higher Ground, was released this fall by Barefoot Muse Press. Diane, you're on.
Thank you so much, Diane. Thank you for inviting me. And Naomi, that was a lovely reading. It was such a pleasure to hear you. And so I'm going to open with a couple poems about what, for me, are grounding and centering activities. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Tai Chi, each of the movements within the larger form has its own name, usually rather poetic. Sunday morning, Tai Chi class. First, stand on the bubbling well, then grasp the sparrow by its tail. Turn, spin. The white crane spreads its wings. Play the moon guitar, embrace the tiger, then return to the mountain. Turn, turn. Make sure to repulse the monkey while waving hands in the clouds. Turn. The golden pheasant is standing on one leg. The fair lady's weaving at the shuttle. Spin. Now step forward and salute the 7 stars of the dipper. Step back to ride the tiger. Spin again, sweeping the lotus gently with one foot. Sunday morning, Earth turns slowly on its axis while I turn on mine. Origami. A simple square is folded twice and thrice, and look, a house appears. It's nothing but itself. Unfold it back to square and fold again. Another house. Across each face, the creases from a previous abode. And here's an activity that I really appreciate, especially now that we can kind of start doing it again. At the dollar bins. On Saturdays, she goes the rounds with shopping bags in hand. She'll rescue former treasures left behind. Some lace, a woolly shawl, a shirt perhaps too small but almost new. A find, a red fedora, brim askew, the feather brave, a bag of mottled pears, a steak too near the sell-by date. She'll gather not because she must eat crumbs or take whatever comes or lick the final jelly from the jar, and not because somebody somewhere may be starving. Gather, glean, to keep or give away, because something in this skirt, that sequined vest, those purple gloves is still alive. I'll continue on to a couple meditations on the interface between human and nature. Leaves, October, as if by hand, painted one by one, the eye behind dissatisfied and painting faster, faster, urging more, another not quite right, as a painter's wont to do. And in November, tossed all, as if in sulk, the winter settles in. Freeway exit. Wild geese fly the 101, not quite on these 4 lanes now, north and 4 south plus median, but above us, a ragged line, its leader purposefully beating wind, long neck reaching, heading east along the exit ramp to Bayfront Park. Cousin geese wait there, surely, enough to make a quorum, enough to form the necessary V for the voyage south. Silent geese, these, what with the tires hiss and thumpings over potholes, what with the whistle of winds around my half-downed window, black beaks seem nearly open, but oh, I know they are honking. Chaparral, your window width's enough of it tonight. Not for this hour, the bold outdoor stride of noontime, foxtails stuck to denim, the click of boot heels on small rocks, the hiking stick. Your blinds reveal the moon-dark slope divided into neat gray slices. When even that's too much, twist the plastic bar to lay the slats flat against the glass, turn up the radio, blot out the yucca and the sage, the calls of all that's feral. You know the wild is out there. That might be all you need tonight. Heron, improbably on Main Street. A heron, blue, great, flew over her roof today in heron fashion, the first she'd seen to levitate above her carapace of asphalt shingles, gray. Where once Ohlone lived is pavement, is honking cars a glitter. Heron, the first she's seen this far from marsh or meadow, so far from creek or estuary, so far from meat and fish, flew in heron manner, cawed once, orange legs trailing, the wings as broad as bird is long, the plumy neck recurved, that odd boneless S. This heron flew over the house, veered west beyond the chimney, cawed, disappeared, left human being marveling and somewhat cheered at first. Nature. Then she knew, frightening, all about the fall from grace that's made the sighting of a heron now and here, rare as winter lightning. This is a full moon song. Full moon, king tide. Breathe me in and out, draw me, take me in and out, carry, bear this body out to sea, out, bring me back drowned, sucked beneath, gone to ground, washed up, turned around on my home beach. Take my clothing, all, fling me naked out again, past the breakwater. Land me on a stranger's beach, new. Rearrange the eye, keep me out of danger, or maybe not. I'm dressed in aught but your salt and sand caught between my toes. Aquanauts, the jellies, the tiny crabs that cling, abalone worshiping the moon, seal, queen, king, swim corridors of bleached kelp and kombu, dulse. Each tide interprets every beach anew. On one, there was snow. I'd like to read a couple different kinds of love stories now. Fireflies. You drive me home the long way. Oh, this is set in Southern Ontario. Fireflies, you'd drive me home the long way through Nobleton and Kleinburg, their window dark houses, our own windows down, our summer dark, its colorless moon. My lower meadow thick with fireflies, their green ghost light, the listless complaints of cricket frogs. You'd stop the engine, stop the frogs. Dark wingtips brushed our cheeks, humming. We'd speak of angels and the where of them. You'd drive me home the short way through Unionville and Markham, the V-Dub's meager heater, our winter tight windows, their ice mandalas, our red noses, my lower meadow thick with crusted ice and silent, its starry dark above and silent. You'd turn in, the snowplow would have already been by. You'd stop at the house, engine running, our starry dark. We'd speak of space and wonder if auroras are alive. The night your father died, before his time, alone, you drove the long way, drove the short way, drove the long way, up the long drive, knocked. I opened and we spoke of nothing at all, but only held on and remembered that somewhere there must be fireflies. When I waved your car down the road for what would be the final time, corn blades trembled in the wind of your passing. That was a hard one. I didn't expect it to be. This is a love poem to my mother's mother. From a snapshot, one of those black and white brownie camera snapshots of her by the cottage at Lake Champlain. Portrait with paper bag. Your fingers in the book to mark your place, but Perry Mason's out of mind for now. You're leaning forward in the straight-backed kitchen chair you've dragged beneath the boughs of elms. Behind, the lake's a streak of dark between two lighter ones. The weeds are long and won't be mowed till fall, so blurry grasses nearly touch the lens. The light is strong, you squint. This camera lens, your head tells it, cocked to one side. Your wide eyes, your lips curved up around a long gone word tell it. This lens is carried by someone you cannot live without. You wear a 40s dress that flaps around your feet, while on your head's a shopping bag, square at top, edge rolled to make a brim, a paper shopping bag. This is not because you have no hats, because a lady has hats, enough hats, bought for every task. But maybe all of yours are battened down in boxes, still unpacked from days of travel. And this offering from A&P, this lovely paper sack was right beside the chair, milk and bread, cream of wheat and crackers put away, and you were ready, just so very ready to carpe the sunny diem at Champlain. Love at the laundromat. Her dollar bills convert themselves to dimes, a tear for every silvery clunk into the pot below the spout. Who will keep the flat? His frowns, his quarters, his fingers hover over buttons labeled tied. All breeze, all falls into the tray. Towels, sheets, detergent, quarters, lids slamming, distant seats, separate papers, breaking up, suspended for the nonce, although their audience of pensioners, of students, single fathers, mothers of 3, and cell phone users wouldn't notice. More clink of dimes and quarters, spinning yellow sheets, the aqua towels, the tumbling, stopping, folding. It does take 2 to fold a sheet. Corner to corner, finger to finger, never looking at him, and corner to corner, never looking at her. He says, please, let's not buy new sheets. Hand to hand, he says, let's go home and dirty up the old ones. Don't cry. And so they don't, they do. She doesn't, not for a while anyway. And that was that. This is a childhood memory. Climbing to the ceiling of the gym. Left hand, right hand pulls her up. Both feet cup the wrist-thick rope and push. Sisal prickles like a cowhide. Bristles strip the tender skin from child thighs bare below the hems of blue shorts. Gym mats thin and few beneath. She doesn't think of falling. Every day that length is calling. All the way, slap the rafter, down again, resist the urge to slide. She lets herself descend, ignores admiring glares from other kids. That length, enticing. Maybe on the 100th climb, she'll smack that beam, a trap door will fly open, wide, flat roof, and she'll shuffle sneakered feet through gravel, lift her arms and soar away like Wendy above the chimneys of Detroit. Do I have time for 2 more?
Sure.
Okay. Barking all night. They'll bark the stranger bark, those hounds. Nip the heels, send trespassers flying. Or yip the yip of a trodden tail, or the welcome. Where the woof have you been all day? They'll bark all those, they will, we will, and wag as well. But then, oh yes, then one day comes the long bark, all night long, the long bark, the baying, deep breaths between, savoring the rumble in the throat, the chest, the long bark. Lord, save us all from barking the long bark, from giving voice across the winter bare fields in vacant rooms all night, barking all night because the road is empty and there's nothing else to do. Thank you. And I'd like to close with one of my favorites. Burning at both ends. They say that like it's a bad thing, like that double flame ain't just the best you'd ever want, and you not knowing anyway whether you're going to last longer with only one end lit. You'll maybe get hit by a bus before you can even vote, and they'll pry that half a candle from your rigged fingers. It ain't like your kid or your brother or your dog can use what's left, and that's a fact. And they say it like there's only one handed out ever, right along with your first diaper, and that's it. The box and the matches snatched away forever, and that may be so. It may be so. But I say it ain't a bad thing. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Round of applause for Diane. And another round of applause for
For
Naomi.
Naomi, yes, yes.
Yeah, you're both such great readers. Diane, I feel like I got to know you better this evening, and it's just so beautiful. I love your images, the way you're an
Thank
artist
you.
on the page. I mean, there are so many lines that just make me sit up and pay attention. You know, the fireflies, the ice mandalas. I could go through every poem and
Oh,
tell you what I love, and
oh,
everything transparent to the emotions.
thank
And
you.
so this
You know, it's funny, as I was reading, I didn't see my face. I saw yours. So I could see all your expressions. I thought, wow, this is super cool. She likes it.
I do.
It was wonderful. Thank you.
And you know, it's just such interesting angles, art, Jungian psychology, family history. I mean, just I really like the pairing of poets this evening.
It was an excellent combination. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to post actually, I'm going to stop recording right now. Let's see, where is the recording button disappears when I shrink. There it goes.